You see now the state of the galaxy deep into the Clone Wars, when Darth Sidious's plan started to gain proper traction. All the Separatists must now do is keep the Republic at bay until the Order is ready to be announced. The Republic, on the other hand, is desperate to stamp out their enemies. The turn order, indicated by dice rolls, is the Gold Republic Army, then the Blue Separatist Army, then the Red Republic Army, then finally the Black Separatist Army. Taking it in turns, they will fight ferociously until only one faction remains. As you can see, the galaxy is in a deep struggle, with almost every sector in stark competition. The first turn will see the Separatists only making some attacks, while the Republic tries to break through some of their stiffest defences. While the Gold Clones are in a bid to secure their half of the Mid-Rim and drive a wedge into the Outer Rim, the Gold Clones try to weaken and push into the core worlds and wild space. The Separatists merely plan to poke into the Republic's side to threaten their advances. There were some successes, but mostly failures. The Gold Clones weakened their opponents, although only claimed Kashyyyk. The Black Droids saw even less success. Upon attempting to invade the colonies, the Red Clone summoned reinforcements, making invasion futile. The Red and Blue armies saw the most success. The Blue Droids put up a stiff defense against the Gold Clones and managed to push into Kessel in the wild space, pushing Gold out. While Blue punished Gold, the Red Clones defeated the large Blue army in Jablim, posing even more threat to the Separatists in the wild space. They also made successful assaults in the core worlds. It is worth noting that the Red Army secured an intel during these strikes, getting them precious cars to use in the war effort. With these developments, both factions are ready to make more moves against each other. The Red Clones plan to continue their assaults in the wild space and core worlds, and plan to secure the colonies from Separatist presence, while the Gold Clones continue to fight desperately for the Mid-Rim while wanting to weaken the Separatists in the Outer Rim even further. The Separatists, in turn, focus on exploiting weaker Republic worlds to cripple them and pose a greater threat. Blue could not afford for Gold to have a stronger grip on either sectors, and Black tried to consolidate while hitting weak targets to put pressure on their advancing Red foes. The Red Clones were largely successful. With their aggression came more intel gathering and cars to play for more reinforcements, and a capital-class ship that assisted them in fighting for the wild space which, alongside the colonies, became firmly in the Republic's grasp. Red's biggest threat is the large Black Droid army residing in the core worlds, and their growing presence in the expansion region. All Black could do was consolidate their forces and keep hitting the weak expansion region, which they aimed to claim if they were to hold off the swelling Red army. They did manage to hit a core world, although their grip is weak. Gold saw success in the Mid-Rim, especially with their Corvette-class ship aiding the cause, although a great Separatist presence remains. Their assault on the Outer Rim was a grim failure, leaving them open to a Blue Separatist invasion of the core world should they see it worth their time. Although the opening was there, the Blue Army saw it more worthwhile to push further into the southern reaches of the Mid-Rim to jeopardise Republic rule. They also made some hits on the Gold presence in the eastern Outer Rim, to prevent the Republic from squeezing them on both sides. With the Red Clones securing 2 sectors of the galaxy, and Wraith fighting everywhere else, the factions again considered their next actions. The Black Droids look to continue pressing into the expansion region while bulking up their formidable force in the core worlds, while the Blue Droids wish to take a majority of the Mid-Rim to keep the Gold Clones preoccupied. Darth Sidious's plans blossomed more and more with each bout. All they had to do was stall the Republic some more. It would be far too premature to launch the Order now. The Red Clones, with their huge boost in reinforcements, wished to push on all Separatist forces neighbouring them. They could not be allowed to gain in strength while the Red Army skirmished with the Black Army on Dur. Their counterparts, the Gold Army, planned to continue their push into the Mid-Rim. With their allies so powerful, all they needed to do was keep the Blue Droids engaged with them until their Red reinforcements arrived. But will any of these preciously laid plans pan out? The Red Army managed to push the Black Droids to Dur, where their final assaults could finally begin to secure the core worlds. Although the Black Army was not to go without a fight, and brought a capital-class ship to counter the Red capital ship, which was recently accompanied by a fighter. In the Outer Rim, The Red Army saw success in thinning the Separatist forces and managed to take Praestillum with another fighter they managed to construct. Although they did reinforce the expansion region too, the Black Droids weakened them once again, threatening control over that sector. In the Mid-Rim, the Blue Droids saw success, especially with their newly acquired Capital-class ship to repel the Gold Clones. They pushed forth into Ando, securing a majority in that sector. Although the Gold Clones saw little success in that round, they had succeeded in preoccupying the Blue Droids, who had to keep matching with them lest they lose control of that sector. It would seem that Darth Sidious's plans would be growing too slowly, and couldn't keep up with the huge threat the Red Army posed. Perhaps they would have to prematurely call the order to keep hopes of victory intact. The Red Army planned to utterly wipe out the Black Droids, to reduce their enemy but to one faction. Having been able to trade in more cards for reinforcements, they were ready to make the ultimate push. Gold decided to assist with the occupation of the Outer Rim, before fortifying their forces in the Mid-Rim to keep up with the Blue Droids. But they had different plans. The Blue Droids knew they had to do something against the Red Army. They simply couldn't bide their time against an overwhelming force. They intended to break Red control of the wild space before returning to the Mid-Rim to continue their standoff against Gold. Let's see how these plans prevailed. In a brutal maneuver and some great luck, the Red Army dispelled the Black Droids from the core worlds and the expansion region, securing lots of intel, which meant lots of cards for extra reinforcements and ships. With the help from Gold, they also managed to secure the Outer Rim for the Republic. A glorious hour for the clones, but a disastrous turn of events for the Separatists and Darth Sidious's plans. With the Black Army eliminated, Darth Sidious's progress was halved. The Blue Droids did manage to break Red's control of the wild space, although they got ready to retaliate in kind. The Gold Army also managed to procure another Corvette-class ship, which they planned to take to the final bastion of the Separatists on Naboo in the Mid-Rim. It is worth reminding you of the turn order, which is now gold, blue, then red. This put the Separatists in a dire situation. In what will become the climax of our story, I will bring you through each army's turn. Although it looks pessimistic for the Separatists, Order 66 is still waiting to be called. The Gold Army planned to hit into Naboo. And they managed to break through the Blue Droids, their two corvettes overpowering their capital vessel. All the Blue Separatists could do was to consolidate in Ando. In the face of certain Separatist defeat, Darth Sidious had no option but to call the dreaded Order 66. You see now the consequences of Order 66. The call was made, but prematurely. Without the complete preparations in place, many clones either did not receive the order, or the local resistance overpowered the compliant clones. The board now consists of two armies: the Republic clones versus the Empire's clones. Palpatine had taken residence in Saleucami, where the largest army heeded the order. He hoped their large numbers would mean protection, although it was Red's turn next, and they would make excellent use of their many cards to secure as large a force as possible. They reinforced all of their units into Jablim, the army's first conquest against the Separatists, in hope to launch their final assault against the newly established Empire. It is here where the most crucial battle will be orchestrated. The battle commences, 7 Empire battalions against 14 Republic battalions supported by a capital-class ship. The battle starts strongly in the Republic's favour, although the Empire manages to strike back. But it's not enough, as they are reduced but to 1 battalion. The Red Army manages to defeat all of Darth Sidious's army, and with the help of the many Jedi that survived the premature purge, the Republic secured Palpatine, and the Empire is brought to a crushing defeat before it was fully able to begin. And that is how the Republic not only defeated the Separatists, but stifled the tyrant that would plunge the galaxy into oppression.